Brandy, do you know what we should do this summer?
What?
We should do the 2023 Dayton Ale Trail and bring along everybody who listens to the Drunk Bitches Be Like.
Hell yeah, let's do it.
Brandy, what's the Dayton Ale Trail?
Dayton Ale Trail is where you go to all the local breweries in the Dayton area and you get stamps in your little passport book. And then at the end of the year, once you get all your stamps, you get to take home a pint glass.
So join us as we review 28 local breweries and actually finish our passports for once.
Yeah, that'd be first.
Drunk bitches be like. Drunk bitches be like. Drunk bitches be like.
Welcome to Drunk Bitches Be Like. I'm Brandy.
I'm Mindy.
And this is all about two women, a few beers, some tipsy stories, and some drunk ideas.
Welcome.
We are starting stop number 1 on our Dayton Ale Trail, and we are at Carillon Brewing Company. We just finished having lunch and a flight of beers each. What do you think so far of Carillon?
I like Carillon. So they brew the old-fashioned way. We'll have some pictures as we go to each of the breweries, but they do their brewing right out in front of everybody, and then they put their brews in wood barrels.
Yeah, and they actually have like an open fire and stuff when you're inside eating, which is kind of cool. It sounds like it would be super toasty in there, but it's actually not.
It's also like 25 feet away from where you sit.
Yeah, but it looks like you're sitting next to a nice open fireplace, but you don't get any of the warmth, right. Which in the summer is good. But
it smells good.
Yeah, it smells delicious in there.
So when you first walk in, so Carillon, the Carillon Brewery is actually in a historical...
something.
I don't know. What do you call it? Hang on.
It's a park, but also there's some history to it.
Okay, wait.
I should know these things.
If I actually had this.
I actually went on a tour once here, and I actually got to go up like in the back area where they do the brewing of the beer and stuff, and go up on top, like up the stairs.
Oh, that's cool.
To look in the barrels and stuff. It was very cool.
So Star City Brewing has done collaborative brews with Carillon Brewing in the past.
Yeah.
And they're Carillon Brewing Company. It is located in Carillon Historical Park. Carillon Historical Park is fantastic. If you're ever here, you have to go. They have, so we used to be home of NCR, the National Cash Register Company, where cash registers came from, I guess. We're not just the home of Cheez-Its.
Yep. We're the home of Cheez-Its?
We are the home of Cheez-Its.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. And we're also not just the home of the birth of aviation. Fuck you, North Carolina. So they do have a lot of Wright Brothers things. They have recreations of the Wright Brothers.
There's a train.
There's a train. I didn't know about. It's a whole tour.
And the Eagles.
Oh, that's right.
The Carillon Eagles. Yeah, they have a couple of eagles that are roosted up here. And actually, I think they had babies or something this past year, didn't they?
Yeah, I think they've tracked them every couple of years. They do a huge Carillon light tree at Christmas.
Mm-hmm. Which is very cool because you can actually walk in like underneath of it. Think of it like the Washington Monument if it had light strands on it that were going out in all directions to make a giant tree.
Right. That would be awesome. So Carillon Historical Park is a 65-acre open-air history museum that serves as the main campus for Dayton history. When I was saying about NCR, there's an area that you go into that has like cash registers from the very beginning of time, like an example of each one. So it's really fascinating. And then they have recreations of like storefronts and what it would have looked like during the Wright Brothers' time. I think they actually, in a couple of instances, the buildings are actually buildings that they have relocated from their original spots, their original buildings.
Okay.
But that all existed before Carillon Brewing. And Carillon Brewing Company offers visitors a glimpse into 1850s era Dayton through the authentically prepared food and drink of the times. A lot of German food.
A lot of German food.
I didn't realize we were Germany.
I will say
Germanish.
Well, I mean, I'm a Schneider and I ended up in Ohio, so. But they have before I have eaten here, and in the past, I have gotten the pretzel before and the sauerkraut balls.
Yeah,
I enjoyed both of those things. Today I got some chicken fingers and some beer cheese mac and cheese. Highly recommend. The chicken fingers, chicken fingers. You can't, they're not like the flaky crust ones. They're like,
chicken fingers.
But the macaroni and cheese is basically elbow macaroni that they dumped a bunch of their beer cheese on, and I couldn't recommend it more.
Awesome. I did get the fish and chips because, So my go-to is fish and chips. I can't really make fun of our one friend because her go-to is chicken tenders wherever we go.
Yeah.
If I can't figure out what to eat and there's fish and chips on the menu,
You're getting fish and
that's
chips.
what I'm going to go for. Really crispy.
I mean, so I'm not a huge fish and chips fan because I don't really like fish, but I love tartar sauce. So occasionally I will eat fish just so that I have a shit ton of tartar sauce.
Tartar sauce
Yeah,
and not feel
it's
like
a vessel for
you're eating
tartar
it with
sauce.
a spoon.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. But yeah, the fish did actually, when it came out, it looked like the crust on it and stuff was super crispy and
Oh, it
everything
was.
like that.
I didn't eat the French fries because I can't eat that much anymore. And then it came with macaroni salad. So what macaroni salad is supposed to be, it's potato salad, but instead of potatoes, it had macaroni and paprika and onions that I avoided. So I had to eat a noodle at a time to avoid onions.
They do have a lot of like, I'm going to say
Worst?
worst plates.
Yes.
Which I'm not saying they're the worst, but like they're worst.
W-R-S-T,
Yeah, like
worst.
sausages kind of a thing. So they've got a lot of that kind of stuff too. And I've had food here plenty of times and it's always been pretty delicious.
My husband and I came here once. We were taking in the whole park. We became members. Oh, we were here for the Makers Fair.
Oh.
So like there were people, or it's over in the like modern, whatever the
You
information
have
place.
explored this place much more than me because I've literally come to the brewery and the tree and
Oh.
Oktoberfest.
Yeah,
That's
I
pretty much
think
it.
as we get out and do things on away from the house and
Yeah.
from the brewery, we should make excursions. Yeah. I mean, we could get drunk and go through museums.
I mean, yeah, I'd totally be in for that. I can put like a belt clip on this thing and just like walk around with it.
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of cool when you get here. There is where the train is, it's split rail. They do a tour of the whole park on it. We didn't know it was here. I don't know why I didn't know. Maybe because I was inside for most of the time, but you can walk and walk and walk through here and just super interesting. But when it comes to the brewery, apparently they are the only brewery in a museum and the only U.S. brewery replicating the historic brewing process. So you can go in and watch them like doing it from front to end. They do it more in like the German style, which is that follows like purity laws.
Yeah.
Like what they have in Germany. When Brandy was talking about, you can go, or you can't go, but you can watch the brewers as they are cooking
Yeah.
the ale, brewing the ale.
Yeah.
You can actually host weddings and parties.
Oh yeah, it's
here.
a beautiful venue.
It's great for families. I mean, if you want to. It's a restaurant,
Yeah.
basically that
It's
has
a restaurant
really good
with
beer.
a brewery, yeah.
So I enjoy it. We're sitting out in the beer garden.
Yeah, which is lovely. And I will say for anybody listening to this that's going, oh, I've had Carillon's beer, I don't like it. So I know a few years back they had some issues with the brewing process because they do it the way that they do it. A lot of their beers were coming out sour. And so they kind of had a reputation there for a while of having like all the beers sour, no matter what style they were. But I will say whatever issues they've had, they've fixed because they definitely are not sour anymore. And
No.
they all have different flavor profiles and they were delicious.
No, we have a couple of breweries we've been to that I'm
Yeah.
like, this wasn't supposed to be a sour.
Right.
It's nice that you call it that,
Yeah.
but we all know it was a mistake.
Right. Yeah. So whatever they were doing before, they've kind of adjusted things but they're still doing it in the old style, but they definitely have a good spread now of different beers that they have on draft.
dress historically.
They do.
They're kind of in character. It's kind of like the Ren Fair of beer.
I've never been called Miss so many times in my entire life.
I know. It was so interesting.
I
Guy
know.
had, he's working on a handlebar mustache.
Yeah. It was very sweet though. It was very nice.
Very genuine.
Yeah.
So we
Lovely
enjoy it.
people, but also, it gets busy sometimes and people need to be nicer. Have some
I
patience
know.
with your servers, people.
Yeah, I mean, and so they've always had the system where you walk up and you order and then you go
Yeah.
get your drinks, which is fine. But like people were waiting and they were just annoyed.
Mm-hmm.
And they have, so they have handcrafted sodas. So
Yes.
it's not all beer. They have handcrafted sodas and brewed iced tea. And, Brandy had an interesting conversation with a gentleman who was like, "What's that?" And she said, "Oh, well, it's sweetened tea." An Arnold Palmer? No, that's.
We
and then he
watched.
told us like it was a conversation. Apparently, when you get over 70, it's a conversation
Yeah.
that you can have with every other 70-year-old.
Yeah, I
Arnold
don't.
Palmer? Yeah, I got an Arnold Palmer. I can't say it.
And he didn't even order one. But then they ended up making two of them in front of us too, which is funny. But we watched the waitress. She poured what I'm assuming is simple syrup into a glass.
Yeah.
And then she poured iced tea on top of it. And I was like, okay, she's making sweet tea. Because then she shook it into a shaker real quick and just poured it back into the glass so that it shook it up a little bit. And that's when the guy was like, oh, is that lemonade? And I was like, okay, first of all, she put like, I don't know, 2 tablespoons in. So no, because if you're making an Arnold Palmer, you're filling it halfway with lemonade, not 2 tablespoons. But it was like, no, it's just sweet. And then I don't think he understood what was happening or what I was saying, or I don't know. It was very,
Yeah. And then they poured the 2 Arnold Palmers, and then another gentleman walked up who I don't even remember if he had anything to do with the first gentleman.
he did not.
And then they were like, oh, are those all Arnold Palmers? Yes, those are Arnold Palmers.
Yeah.
Do you know that's lemonade and iced tea?
Well, okay, you didn't hear the other guy then because somebody else said, oh, is that iced tea? And she looked at him and goes, no, it's half lemonade, half iced tea. And I'm like, dude was just talking about Arnold Palmer's. Like, I don't know what's happening in this conversation. People are not paying attention to the other people in the crowd or group. I don't know.
It was fantastic.
Yeah,
So we have stuff to look forward to when we're in our 70s, I guess.
Yes.
We
So-
did get a flight instead of getting 4 pints, which seems reasonable.
Yes, I think so. I mean, if we do 4 pints at every place we go to, then that'll be a little crazy.
So we each got, we only got one ale that we each got one of that ale. So we have 7 different
Beers to talk about.
beers to talk about.
So
There
let's-
are, I think it rotates. So
Yeah.
I know that they'll have some specials. If they do the collaborations, they'll have the collabs up there.
Yeah.
But right now, I think they have 8 or 9 beers
I want to say 9.
prepared.
Yeah. So the one that we got that was the same was called Beat of My Heart, and it was a vegetable ale, which I think is why we both got it because it's
Sounded interesting.
Yep. Different. And it is literally a vegetable ale. So it's a beer made with beets.
Beets.
It's beer made with beets.
It
Comes out red in
It's
color.
not a dark red though, so
No.
we don't have to worry about panicking
Yeah.
tomorrow. Oh my God, am I bleeding to death?
Oh, no. But it's a nice like dark pink color, I would say, reddish.
Now, I
pinkish.
thought I kept smelling it before I tasted it because I couldn't figure out what the scent was, and smells smell different to everybody. To me, it smelled like a green banana.
Yeah.
Like right when you crack one open, I don't like a green banana, so it's a little off-putting.
So I tend not to smell the beers first, only because I'm not used to being able to smell things because of allergies. So I just don't even go there.
I should have smelt all of your beers.
Yeah, but then I did smell the vegetable beer after you mentioned that, and I was like, yeah, I can see that. It did smell somewhat like a banana to me.
Yeah. What'd you think about it?
It was okay. I think it's one of those things where I liked the fact that I had a 4-ouncer and I can finish a 4-ouncer, but I don't think I want a whole pint of it. But I mean, it wasn't terrible tasting or anything, but it also didn't really taste like beets to me because I love beets.
Oh, I know. I don't know that I do or don't.
Oh, so when I was growing
when
up,
I look at them, I don't want them.
okay, so there was a restaurant we used to go to all the time when I was growing up, and it was the only place that I remember getting like a side salad, like a dinner salad with your dinner, and it was a spaghetti place. It was called Paulinori's in my little hometown. And so whenever you would order spaghetti or whatever else, you would get a side salad, like a little house salad before your meal came out. And like we didn't go to steakhouses and things like that when I was a kid, so like this was the only place I knew of that you got a salad. I genuinely thought that beets was a topping for salads.
Oh.
Because these salads always had, it was just like lettuce, tomato, some cheese, and like beets. Like slices of beets that were cold, like cold sliced beets.
Yeah.
Like cooked. And I loved them. And so like I just thought beets were supposed to be on salads. Like I thought that was a natural thing. And then like anywhere else I went, finally as I got older and then went and started ordering things, I was like,
Where's the
oh,
beets
you
at?
never see beets anywhere. And so now that whenever I do get a salad from somewhere and they have beets on it, I'm like, oh, they've got beets.
Beet salad. I don't know what a beet tastes like. I just have not tried them based on. I have a fear of what it will taste like. Like I've had a turnip.
Oh.
I've had a radish. I have it in my head that it will taste like a radish, and I
will
don't
say-
know why.
I've had radishes. I guess you could say they're in the same family, but I don't like radishes nearly as much as I like beets. I think beets are sweeter.
Okay.
They're but then again, I think eat cooked beets, whereas radishes I've only had raw.
So we tried when we were doing keto. We did try.
Did you cook radishes?
It's a lie. It's a 100% lie when you look at a keto website and they say you can air fry radishes with these seasonings and it will taste like potatoes. It will not. It will not taste like potatoes. It tasted horrible. Turnips are. Was it turnips? I'm trying to think. Parsnips do taste like very sweet potatoes when you roast them.
Okay.
And turnips also do not taste like potatoes.
See, I think cauliflower, when cooked and mashed and put the appropriate seasonings and things in it, they can taste like potatoes a little bit.
A stick of butter and
a stick of butter,
a block cream cheese.
Yeah, and like maybe some sour cream and some garlic, onion.
This almost
stuff.
tastes like like a thing. Now, my husband is known for his macaroni. And when we were doing keto, we made it with cauliflower. But when you make it with cauliflower, you have to semi-cook the cauliflower. And then, or no, maybe we fully cooked it. And then you have to let it drain for like a day. Salt it and let it drain because otherwise it turns your cauliflower mac and cheese soupy.
Oh, okay.
Like it gets the weird watery because it's a very water-filled thing. But radishes and turnips are not potatoes. They're not a potato substitute. It was a lie. So in my head, all root vegetables will taste the same, and I don't like the ones I've had.
Okay. I could see that. But yeah, I've never had a turnip, but radishes I've had, but only raw radishes. I'm not a huge fan.
They're spicy.
And beets
in a weird way.
Beets are like kind of sweet to me. And have you ever had a pickled egg?
No.
Oh, wow. All right.
Do they taste kind of like cranberry? Like the canned cranberry?
Okay. Canned cranberry, maybe a little bit. Not quite as tart.
Okay.
Yeah. Not without the tartness to them.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll have to think about that.
Yeah.
I'll try them. You know what?
So
I'll buy them and then I'll have a bite of one. And if I don't like it, I'll just bring them to your house and drop them off.
That works for me.
Actually, my husband might like them. There are a lot of things we don't have in the house because I don't like it.
Oh, okay.
Which it's not my choice.
Right.
He just doesn't ask for me to get those things anymore. And I'm like, I'm not opposed to buying them.
Right.
I'm just not going to eat it.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, that makes sense. I don't buy things that I'm not going to eat.
Yeah.
And, like, honestly.
Like you have to ask.
Yeah.
So I don't really know how to explain the taste of it. It was a tinge of sweet to me. It was a little tart.
Yeah.
And it tasted vegetable-y.
It did. It tasted vegetable-y. Like I felt like I was drinking a salad.
Yeah, it was
mostly because I recognize beets as being on a salad and stuff.
Yeah,
but it was drinking a salad.
I wouldn't order it. Just
I didn't love it. But the other three that I had, I enjoyed all of them.
Yeah.
In different
different ways.
In different ways. I did the Kentucky Common, which it was called Corliss KY, I think. Mm-hmm. But it's a Kentucky Common, which I've never even heard that kind of beer before. It was slightly hoppy, but it kind of tasted like either a red or a brown ale to me, like mixture of that. It was pretty mild, but it was a good beer for somebody who likes a little bit of hops, but not a ton. Okay. I thought it was nice, just
That's fair.
Yeah, just a nice light. And it's not a light beer by any means because it's got like a darker color brown to it, but it was easy drinking.
Is it like, I hate the term, but like the mouthfeel?
I don't know what that means.
So, do you know how when you drink Bud Light, it's a very crisp and carbonated feeling. So, to me, Budweiser has a thicker feel to it, even though it is still like has that crisp thing to it. And then, so like Killian's has, I haven't had Killian's in 30 years, but Killian's, Guinness, they have almost like a heavy, like you can almost bite them. So I will say it was not as much like that, but my other two beers that I tried were both stouts. So comparatively, it was lighter than that. But I will say it was a little bit thicker than, I would say it's a step up from like a red ale. Okay. So it had a little bit more to it. Oh, I keep forgetting you're a wine person. You know how some wines just feel light, like they don't really coat the inside of your mouth. They're just like, yeah.
And then
to
there's
me,
some that leave
ales, are kind of like, they just, you feel them.
Yeah.
After they're gone.
Yeah. This one, it had a little bit of that, but not too strong a one. So it wasn't a lot. The stouts, the dry Irish stout that I had was definitely a thicker mouthfeel. It was dry, but I will say, and I'm usually not a huge fan of dry Irish stouts. And that was called the Montgomery, but it had, like, I feel like dry Irish stouts that I've had before are like, they're dry. But like
and
there's
Irish and
there's
stout.
not a lot of there's not a lot of flavor profile, I feel like, to it. It's just you get that dry flavor kind of, you know what I mean? But this one had like actually really good flavor to it, so I enjoyed that. So
sorry, I'm struggling to find my
you have
sunglass
Galaxy
toppers.
Sunglasses. That's awesome.
Oh man.
Love
Hey,
it.
if you guys get Pear Eyewear based off of the odd conversation that we had in the last episode about Pear Eyewear, we highly recommend it. But one of my favorite things, again, because I'm not that bright, and when I figure something out, I think it's so cool. And my husband looks at me like I'm dumb. He looks at me like he wonders how I get along every morning waking up. So the sunglass toppers come with a design on them, but then you can just put your regular toppers on top of your sunglasses. Then you have a new frame. Yeah. Now you have to go through a whole process to get them off.
Oh yeah. Well, I have to go through the process anyway. That's why I always put the sunglasses underneath my other toppers, because I usually, and also I feel like having the sunglasses on top of your other toppers leaves just enough of a gap. Oh, there's the train.
Choo choo.
It leaves just enough of a gap that I get some kind of a reflection on the inside of them that I can see, and it bothers me. So I have to make sure the sunglasses are like up against my actual frames, and then I have the other frames on top.
I can see that.
Yeah.
I can't see it, but
Yeah.
So you had a couple of the stouts also.
Yes, and then the last one I had was their oatmeal stout, which is labeled as a shaker.
There's the train's brakes.
Ooh. That one I really enjoyed, because normally when I do oatmeal stouts, I like to have the flavored oatmeal stouts. But this one, I liked just the regular oatmeal stout because it had a little bit of sweetness to it. It wasn't like super sweet, but it just had a little bit of sweetness to it that just made it really nice to drink.
Nice.
And really yummy. So I really loved their oatmeal stout. So I highly recommend. That was probably my favorite. So I would recommend the oatmeal stout if you come to Carillon Brewing Company.
Nice.
How about yours?
I had you're going to ask me when I was trying to make a video of the train.
Sorry.
Nope, you're fine.
Videoing the train.
So I had the pale rye, which is a pale ale, and hey, did you know when somebody calls it a pale ale, they mean an IPA? But in my head, I'm thinking Bud Light, which is a lager, which doesn't. Anyway, so it was slightly hoppy, and I don't like a lot of hops. The pale ale is slightly hoppy because it's pale ale, which to me, when something is hoppy, it then lends itself to a grapefruit taste. I don't like grapefruit. Yeah. But this was drinkable, but take that with a grain of salt because I don't like IPAs.
Yeah, I feel like if you don't like IPAs, and
yeah. So it was, if somebody were to be like, hey, try it, it's different. It is different than other IPAs that I've had, some other IPAs, but in that it's not as hoppy, but it still had freaking hops. I had the CB, the CEEBEE, which is a cream ale. Really liked it. Had a little hop taste to it. I'm just sensitive to the flavor of hops. I think I don't know.
Yeah, I am too. I don't like hops very much.
But it was smooth.
Yeah.
So it was really smooth.
That's good.
Really liked Warp Wings cream ale. We'll get there one weekend. But yeah, I mean, in order of what I got, pale rye being my least favorite, the CB was the middle favorite, and then I got a Gelb beer, or the name of it's Gelb beer, GELBBIER, and it was a Kolsch, smooth,
nice,
but not a lot of flavor. It wasn't Bud Light because I feel like Bud Light is spicy water. I don't mean hot spicy. I mean like just overly carbonated water.
Oh, that's probably why I like Bud
That's
Light.
probably why you like
Because
it.
I like overly carbonated things.
So actually the Kolsch even seemed almost flat, but I could see bubbles. So I know
Okay.
it was carbonated, but I couldn't feel carbonation.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. But it was really smooth. I think if I came here, that would be what I would get
Okay.
just to have it. And then we talked about the beat of the heart, which, while interesting, I'm never drinking again. I did it. I done it.
Yeah. I mean, that's fair. All right. So we are finishing up here at Carillon Brewing Company. And as we said before, we're doing the Dayton Ale Trail. So we are heading out to our next location. So we're going down to Lucky Star Brewery down in Miamisburg, Ohio.
I like Lucky Star. Actually, didn't think that they used to brew there. I thought they just had other people's beer, but apparently they do some.
So yeah, they do their own brewing, and then they started out doing their own brewing, and then I believe they added on, got their liquor license so they can serve other beer as well. So they have a plethora of different drinks and things, and they have some food. They're a cantina as well. But yeah, so basically this summer, as we hop through the breweries, you guys can just follow along on our journey of getting drunk and get drunk with us.
Yeah. And we have said this many times over the past 3 years. If you like breweries,
Yeah.
Dayton, Montgomery County, this area is the place to be, because we're going to 28 of them. There are probably 28 more that are not part of the association that does this.
Yeah, and there are some, so of the 28 breweries that are on there, some of them we only have to go to one location because there were multiple breweries on our list that we're going to that actually have two different locations, but because we don't want to kill ourselves, we're picking one of the two, but you
Right.
know,
Because you only need a stamp
yeah,
from
because you
one
only
of
need a
them.
stamp from one of the two. You don't need a stamp from
No
all of the
extra credit.
locations. Yeah. So we're trying to group them so that we can do 3 to 4 per episode. So that way we can get through a few of them at a time and you know, not take forever.
My husband will not be guesting with us, but I think at one point he'll be driving us around because he offered to do that today, because then I have to drive him places. And I was like, I drive us everywhere. Every place we go is your night to drink. But you know, I'm happy to do it. He's happy to take us. We like riding in the Tessie. So
Yeah.
yay.
Fantastic.
So we will catch up with you at Lucky Star.
Yeah. All right. So we are now at our second stop of our brewery tour for the day
In
on the
beautiful
Dayton Ale Trail.
Miamisburg, Ohio.
Yeah. Lucky Star Brewery is where we are. It's also a Mexican cantina as well as a brewery. I got some chips and queso. It was delightful. Chips super salty and crispy and lovely.
You were going to say chip soup. Chip soup. It was chip soup. Yes, it was.
I mean, if I had crumbled them up and put them in the
queso
cheese.
is, really. It's chip soup.
Yeah, that's true. If you just crumbled them up and like stirred it all together, you'd just be eating the same thing, just in soup form.
Yeah, I was trying to find, let's go to their About
It'd be
Us.
very chunky.
All right. Lucky Star Brewery is located in downtown Miamisburg.
They're part of the Dora district down here.
Yes. Their building was originally built in 1840 as a tobacco facility where tobacco was dried and packaged for delivery down the Great Miami River. It has been transformed into many different businesses over the years and is currently the home of Lucky Star Brewery. Now you know.
Fantastic.
Isn't that knowing is half the battle?
Yeah. So you can't miss it. It's got hot pink and bright colors all over the place.
It's got green wood cacti
Yes.
out front.
Mindy will post pictures. We're sitting on the back patio. Well, side patio. And they actually built a stage out here in their parking lot too. So they have bands that play out here.
Yeah, I enjoy it. We've been here. We came here with D before we did episode 5.
Oh yeah, we did. I
And
forgot about that.
That was the place where I do not recommend the margaritas because I had to get lime juice to put in the margaritas because they are lime syrup. It was not good. But the food's good.
The food's fantastic. I will say I got the chips and queso tonight, but I've been here for the food before. I will say the quesadillas are smaller than you would expect them to be. Think taco size, not burrito size. But they have these little sliders. They're like little cheeseburgers. And when you order them, they come like 3 of them. And they have like this green chili stuff on it. Oh, they're amazing.
Nice. I've never had those.
Oh, they're super yummy. So yeah, if you ever are hungry for a little slider thing, those things are fantastic here. And some of the other food, all the food tastes good. So
when we talked about Dora, you guys know that is a designated outdoor recreation area.
I believe so. I think that's what it's called. Yeah.
Miamisburg has kind of a triangle
Oh, no,
Just
giant rectangle.
Okay, giant rectangle. Star City and Lucky Star are on the outside, one of the outside edges.
Yeah, so they make up, there's like, well, so it's like two rectangles put together because there's like a little peninsula and the two breweries are on the little peninsula of the Dora district.
Yeah, so it's nice. If you come down to Miamisburg, Dora is 11 to 11, starting
7 days a week.
Oh, is it 7 days a week now?
It is.
Damn, it used to start on Thursdays.
They just changed the hours. Yeah, well, when it started on Thursday, each day had a different hours, and it was Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and it was very confusing for everybody involved, including bartenders.
That's dumb.
So they finally got it passed. They changed it. So now it is 11 a.m. to 11 p.m. every day of the week.
Now, the Dora is a little different than in some cities. They don't block off streets. But they do have, you can go sit in the weird park in the middle of town and drink.
Yeah. So there's a big park down by the river that once the construction's done, because they just started construction on it, they're redoing the park. It's got an amphitheater and stuff, and they usually have free concerts in the summer and stuff so that you can go take your door to drink down and sit and watch. And a lot of the retail businesses on Main Street and stuff have stickers on the doors that say Dora Welcome Here, and that means you're allowed to take your Dora drink in. But one thing about Dora, in case you didn't know, because apparently a lot of people don't know this, if you buy a Dora drink at a bar, you cannot walk into another bar with your Dora drink.
Yeah, that's a thing.
Because one, you're crossing liquor licenses, which really not your concern. Two, I feel like the bigger concern, and where I would think the common sense would come in at, is that if you're walking into another establishment that only sells drinks and you're bringing in a drink from somewhere else, then you're clearly not patronizing that business.
Right.
So you should be doing that if you're going to go sit on somebody's patio and watch their band for free.
I mean, I'm the kind of person who buys something at a gas station when I go in to pee.
Yeah.
I don't care if it's gum or a soda that I'm not going to drink.
Right. Yeah. Go grab a water because that's what you should do.
Yeah. So
it's
I enjoy,
the nice thing to do.
I enjoy Miamisburg. It's nice. The shops down there are cute and quaint. There is somebody asked me, who was it? Somebody on one of our dart teams said, what days can you go to the Hamburger Wagon? I'm like, well, first of all, you can go to their website, but the Hamburger Wagon does smash burgers. And they do not run out of business ever.
No, they don't. They have a line all the time. I believe I just saw a sign sitting out there the other day. I think it's from like 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. is their summer hours, but I don't know if it's 7 days a week or if it's certain days or not whatnot. But Hamburger Wagon is a staple down in Miamisburg. I'm not a huge fan, but also I am a huge fan when I want one.
Yeah.
It's like, it's not something I want all the time, but like occasionally you just want a charred little burger on a bun with nothing but pickle and onion and salt and pepper.
Oh, and unlike one place that existed in Dayton, you can actually ask them to not put shit on it.
That's true. But you can't ask them to put anything else on it because they literally have nothing else besides salt, pepper, onion, and pickle.
Right. There was a place here in Dayton called Volksie's.
I've heard of that.
Which is, it's now defunct. Volksie passed away. But you got the food the way that Volksie gave you the food. There was no customization.
I mean, it made it easy for him.
He has yelled at a customer before, if you want it like that, then you come back and make it.
Oh, okay.
So he's basically the soup Nazi, but with burgers. And
fantastic.
Now he's passed away and the business is closed, but their burgers at Hamburger Wagon are fantastic. So,
and I will say they go very well with beer.
Oh yeah. They go very well with like 11 o'clock at night.
Yeah, they do.
So when was your first time at Lucky Star?
Oh gosh. I'm not sure how long they've been open now. I want to say almost 9 or 10 years now, maybe. So it was probably
they're about the same as.
So I believe they opened. I just saw that Toxic Brewing Company is having their 10-year anniversary this year, I think. And I want to say Star City opened a year before them. Because I think Star City's having their 11th, maybe their 12th in November.
I don't know. You're dating the guy.
I know. But Lucky Star opened either 1 or 2 years after them. So I think it was 1 or 2 years after them.
I would say the most frustrating thing, not the most frustrating thing, but a frustrating thing that I have noticed for Star City is people who show up at Lucky Star and then are like, nobody's here and there aren't any dartboards.
Yeah, they're on the same street, and the major street that you get to their street, Lucky Star is first, and then second you get to Star City. So whenever you get food delivered or anything to Star City, because since they don't serve food, they allow you to bring food in. Deliveries and things will constantly like call you and be like, where are you? I don't see anybody anywhere. And I'm like, are you at the wrong brewery? You're at Lucky Star, not Star City. And the reason everything in Miamisburg has Star in its name is because Miamisburg is the Star City.
Why?
Because it has something to do with the mound. There's a giant mound here that you can walk upstairs and everything else. The Indians that originally were here,
like Serpent Mound or
no, well,
but it's similar to that.
Similar
But
to
it's
that.
not
It's
that.
an Indian mound kind of thing. Yeah. I think it used to be a burial mound, but I don't think it is anymore. But
I would say they're not actually burying people there now.
No, they're definitely not doing that. But the Indians who lived here originally, apparently, when they went to the top of the mound, they said it was like they could touch the stars.
Oh, okay.
And I'm paraphrasing here because there's a plaque at like the Civic Center that you can read all about it and
That's
everything.
also probably just a passed down story.
Probably. But so that was the story. And so Miamisburg is called the Star City. So, yeah. So that's that thing. So everything in Miamisburg, well, not everything, but a lot of things have Star in the name.
Right.
So it gets confusing sometimes. But we are at Lucky Star right now. And we had a flight, and their flights, they have a little star, which Mindy will post pictures of too. So you get 6 in their flights instead of 4.
It was nice.
Yeah.
I mean, so far, if you're keeping track, we've only had 2.5 pints. Doesn't seem like it when I try and say the words, but we've had 2.5 pints. Mm-hmm. They've got cute little glasses too for their...
Yeah, they're actually I don't know if you read them. They're the Beer 5K little mugs. They say Beer 5K on them.
I didn't notice. I just know that in bars that serve a lot of little beers, that they use. In case you guys don't know, little beers is liquor 42 and cream and something. I don't know. They're like little shots that look like beers because cream goes on the top.
Oh, okay. But they look like little beer mugs, basically.
Yeah, these look like little beer mugs, little mason jar beer mugs.
Yeah, so they're cute. So we each had, well, technically we each had 6, and then we got 1 because we realized neither of us had ordered in our flights their signature beer, which is their Mexican lager. It's called Ojos Locos. So it's a Mexican lager. I will say they serve it with a lime. It definitely is a it tastes like a light lager. It just doesn't have very much flavor at all until you squeeze the lime in it.
Yeah, it's not like, so there are some, Bud Light's lime beer is probably better.
Yeah, well, when I pick a light beer to drink, I usually drink Bud Light, but I feel like it's because it's got a lot of carbonation to it, and so
you just like fizzy water.
I like fizzy water, and Bud Light's the closest thing I get to fizzy water that's beer.
So yeah, I don't think either of us really. It was all right. It's drinkable.
Yeah, I mean, it's
that's
on a hot day.
Everything here
goes down easy and whatever, but
almost everything here was drinkable.
Yes, I will say that. So let's just go number wise, because I feel like you had. Okay, so we started with 4, but let's go back to 1 because you had one of the ones.
Did you have a number 1?
I did not.
Okay, so the number 1 is the Chill Pill. It's a traditional Czech Pilsner brewed using a triple decoction mashing process. Look up those words.
That's a mouthful.
So the reason we know more about these beers than we did about Carillon is because you get a sheet that tells you about
we got a sheet with descriptions and everything.
It sounds like there should be naked people on it. But it has a subtle lime taste to it. It was smooth, but it wasn't I like a heavier flavor.
Okay.
It wasn't hoppy. It wasn't crisp. It was just, it didn't offend my tongue.
Yeah. Well, that makes sense. I will say I'm surprised that it wasn't very hoppy because it's got an IBU of 40. Once again, I have a sheet in front of me.
But my husband has said before, just because he's had things that have a high IBU, but it doesn't taste hoppy, or he's like, there's also IPAs that don't taste as hoppy. And I'm like, but I feel like I've never had one.
Yeah.
So, and I do, when I look for ales when we're places, I normally do look at IBUs.
Yeah.
But I have had something with a low IBU that tasted something they did to it, made it hoppy, and I was offended.
No.
I'm like, this is supposed to be a system that works.
That's right. Well, that's what I normally look at, so that's kind of sad. So the next one that we both had, it was a hibiscus kolsch, and it's a traditional kolsch style beer brewed with hibiscus flowers. It was interesting. It's very floral, but I thought it was pretty mild too. I enjoyed it, but I think I could probably only have one pint of it before I wouldn't want to drink another one.
Yeah, I mean, it's a very, very subtle floral note. It's enough to make it different.
Mm-hmm.
So if you've had a traditional kolsch.
I thought it gave it an interesting flavor.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I enjoyed it, but...
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't my favorite, but I could drink it.
Yeah.
If you told me that's all they had, I could drink it.
Yeah.
What was
number
your next
7 was my next one. So that was the Black Sheep. It's the dark Mexican lager. So I tried all of their Mexican lagers. The dark Mexican lager, I actually enjoyed the most out of all of their Mexican lagers. It had really good flavor to it and a little bit of sweetness to it. It felt like, so I really kind of like that. And I'm not usually a huge like dark lager fan, but it was pretty good. I enjoyed that one. I could drink a couple of those. That'd be good.
Yeah, I could see that. I did not try that one, but it was on the short list. It just didn't make it.
Yeah. So what's your next number? 10?
10.
All right. I had a number 9 also, which was the Redemption. It's their Irish Red. So I'm not a huge Irish Red fan or brown ale, but like those are also things that like if I'm at a brewery and all that's the only things they have of beers that I like, then that's what I will go to. I thought it was a pretty solid red. It wasn't my favorite beer to drink, but also I thought it was pretty good. So, I mean, I could drink it.
You did say it tasted like what you think a red should taste, an Irish red should taste like.
It tasted to me what I thought an Irish red. It was clean and easy to drink, and it's just flavor wise, like Irish reds aren't my favorite. So, but I feel like it was a pretty solid Irish red.
And I told Brandy, the only Irish red I've ever had, I'm not even sure if it's really an Irish red. It was Killian's, and that was like 30 years ago.
Well, I mean, it's been a while since I've had an Irish red, so
yeah. So.
I think that's why I picked it, because I wanted to try it again.
That was
taste
brave
buds
of you.
change.
I had the number 10, We Eat. It's a Belgian style wit beer brewed with orange blossom, honey, and dried orange slices. And I'm not sure if that's supposed to be orange blossom, I think it's just orange blossom honey. All one thing.
Yeah.
I didn't taste any of that.
I will say I had this one too, and I didn't taste any of that either.
It was kind of sweet. I mean, wit beers are normally pretty mild, and
they are. And I mean, it was very drinkable. I will say I didn't get any of the orange or anything like that. And I will say I've in the past, when I have been here before, that's usually my go-to. That was like my default beer when they very first opened. They had that. That's been a standard on their menu. And it was a lot more flavorful from what I remember. So I'm thinking this batch that we got, or the pour, maybe we're at the end of the barrel or something. I don't know.
If you don't do craft beers, just know that, I mean, it might be different. It's the same recipe, but it might be different because, I mean, with something that has honey in it, you can't guarantee you can't guarantee what the honey is going to taste like.
Right.
It's going to taste similar each time. You can't guarantee the quality. You get good quality grain, but that doesn't mean that it's the same quality as the time you got it before.
So I feel like it's one that like I would probably try and order again next time I come, just because I know I've had it in the past that had a lot more flavor to it. But the one we had today wasn't kind of up to par of what it has been in the past that I've had.
Well, at least you've had it good before.
Yeah.
Everything here is we didn't get anything with a high ABV.
No, we didn't order any of the higher ones.
It's a good thing. I love when they're like 12-ounce pour. You know that you probably are going to get cut off at some point. I had the number 11, which was the Cray Mango Shandy, Cranberry Mango Shandy. 10 out of 10.
Yeah,
would do again.
I had that one also. I love that one.
That's sweet.
It's sweet. It's a wheat beer.
It's sweeter than it.
It's a shandy, but
Right. But I've had shandies that aren't that sweet.
Yeah.
And it was sweet.
Yeah.
And I was okay with it. I don't normally do like ciders, but it was on the cider side of sweet.
so for me, shandies normally when I have them are a little bit more like citrusy or tart. And I think I really like this one because to me, this reminds me more of a wheat beer but it's a little bit lighter because it's a shandy, but you still get all that flavor of having like one of those like super flavored like wheat beers, like a mango wheat or something like that. But you get the flavor, but not the like super heaviness of it because it's a shandy. So I really enjoyed number 11. I thought that was fantastic beer.
And I feel like, full disclosure, if I'm just buying beer to have at home or beer to take over to your place when we record, I love the summer because I love Line and Kugel lemon shandy, and I like their orange shandy, but you can only get that in like a variety 12 pack. But I like those, and I've had shandies I don't like. There's a lemon blueberry one that I do not like. It's by Sagatuck.
Oh, okay.
Sagatuck, whatever that word is.
Yeah.
But yeah, this one, if they had this in bottles, I would probably run around with it and get better diabetes.
Yeah. I feel like during COVID, I might have gotten a couple of growlers of that along the way.
So then we did number 12.
It's called La Chica, and it is a tart cherry Mexican lager. So this was the third Mexican lager.
It was La Pupa.
Neither of us finished it, I will say. I usually really like tart cherry stuff, but to me, it didn't taste like tart cherry. It actually tasted sour to me, not tart.
It didn't taste tart or sour to me. It tasted like an aluminum can with a slight cherry taste. So I was telling Brandy, Pepsi, to me, no matter what the form of Pepsi is, whether it's a bottle or fountain, tastes like aluminum to me. Like it sat in a can for 2 years and then I drank. I don't know. I just don't like the flavor of it. That's what this to me reminded me of. Like if they had canned this beer and forgot that they had it, and then they brought it out 3 years later, that's what it tasted like to me.
Yeah, I wasn't a huge fan. Out of the Mexican lagers, I much preferred the dark one.
Yeah, I agree. What was your? Did you have?
That was it for mine.
Okay, I did get the number 15, the Mucho Michelada, Bloody Mary beer, traditional Mexican style Bloody Mary style beer. It's a lot of styles in there. It is served with a Tabasco salt rim. I have chapped lips and we had chips and shredded the roof of my mouth, but I 100% would do it again. my mouth was on. It's not spicy. The beer isn't spicy. The Tabasco rim is what's a little spicy, but it's really spicy if you get it into like broken skin on your mouth. I don't care. I drank the whole thing. I licked the whole rim. That's not a soundbite that I went out in the world. But no, I enjoyed it. We are much like the Carillon Brewing Company. This is a family-friendly establishment. Be aware, it's a bar. So my biggest pet peeve is people who bring kids to a bar and then bitch because people are acting like adults at a bar. Fuck off. It's a bar.
Yeah, I feel like so. They are a cantina too, so they have food, and I get that, but it is very much so when you walk in here, it's set up like a bar. There's bar tables. It's, so it's and they're open during the day and stuff on the weekends and whatnot. But yeah, if you are bringing your kids in, there's
a couple of low tables that you can sit at, but otherwise your kid's just going to fall off a stool.
Yeah. A metal stool at that, which I feel like is really...
I took pictures of it because it's killing my ass.
I feel like it's a way for a bar to tell when you've had too many drinks, because if you can't sit your ass on these stools, then like, all right, clearly it's time to go home.
Oh, dude, if you have an ass, you can't sit on these stools. No. Because literally... I don't have a wide ass, but my ass is wider than the stool.
Well, the trick is too, you got to sit sideways so the point's between your legs.
That makes sense. That's like when you ladies, this is a life hack. When you go to the girl doctor, turn your little lap blanket diagonally. It's wider, and then you can cover you without.
Nice.
I don't know. Somebody told me that one time. I gave it to her, and she like did that. She folded it in half, like a bandana.
Yeah.
And put it on, then a little point just dangles between your legs.
Oh, look at that.
I was like, that is something to know. So apparently
There
that's
you
what
go.
you do with these stools. But literally, if you have a big ass, you're going to end up wearing it.
Yeah, if you ever run across a square bar stool that does not have a back to it, just turn it diagonal and put the point between your legs because it's a lot more comfortable.
That's kind of like the saddle seats that they have. I call them saddle bar stools. They dip in the middle.
Oh, yeah.
They're wood, they're rectangular, and they dip in the middle. And Star City has a couple of those, and I like to sit on them like
you're riding a horse.
like straddle it. Yeah. I'm like, this is very comfy.
Yeah.
Also, when you do that, those have their railings are highest on the front and the back. So when you sit on sideways, you can like hook your heels into it.
Oh, put your feet on the side. Nice. Yeah.
So it feels really comfortable.
That's helpful.
We are going to try, we'll probably have to have a follow-up because I think on our way downtown after Star City, we're going to swing back by because they have pre-made frozen drinks that all sound fantastic, except for the Jack and Coke one.
Yeah. Well, so they've got pina colada, a Coco Rita, dreamsicle, fresh watermelon, and a Jack and Coke.
So yeah, I am down for a fresh watermelon icy.
Yeah, fresh
That's
watermelon
what it's going to remind me of.
Really good. Yeah.
I hope it's like an icy.
Yeah,
and not like a slush.
It's toasty out.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to that. So we're gonna head over to Star City, and I'm actually gonna try some of the beers that I either haven't had in a long time or have never tried because I have my comfy drinks that I like there since we go there quite a bit. And
we're gonna step out of our comfort zones.
Yeah,
I say what we should do is get one that we get our go-to,
right, and then
3 no-tos.
Yeah, I like it. Let's do that.
Awesome. All right, we will catch up with you guys at Star City.
All right. Let's do this thing. We're okay. So we're at the last stop on our brewery tour for the day.
We're not as drunk as we probably should be, but also we've only just been doing flights.
Yes.
Oh, we were going to do a wine flight. We totally fucked that up.
Yeah, we did. That's, okay.
But we've just been doing flights, and around here it's a 3 or 4 ounce pour. So again, we were at 2.5 pints,
and
at
so
the
now
last
we're at
place, and now we are at 3.5 pints.
Fantastic.
So it was a good time. We are at Star City. You probably know the history better than I do.
So Star City is in the old Peerless Mill building. It used to be a restaurant back in the day, and they had a couple fires. It's famous for that. It also, before that, used to be an old mill, and there used to be a canal like behind the building. And I do know that the stones on the floor are the original rocks from the lock that used to be in the canal thing.
Okay. We always have a hard time, my husband and I, figuring out what's new and what's not.
Yeah.
Because I believe the tap room is rebuilt. It wasn't original.
Some parts of it are original, but it did have to be rebuilt because I believe the fire was out in the kind of side of the building where the tap room is.
The Jenga room looks original.
Yes, that part was original. Like the patio area is new.
Okay.
And I believe the room that we're sitting in currently is part of the newer portion of the building. So
and the apartment part, is that newer?
So I think that was part of the newer stuff too.
Okay. But the back room where I got married is original because it has the original carpet.
It does. Yes. The heritage room is original. And you can kind of tell when you walk around the brewery because like the rooms we're sitting in now, you can see drywall and like wood, like, what's that stuff called? It lines the floor and the walls, baseboards and trim. So all that stuff you can tell is kind of newer. Some of the older stuff in the building and like in the tap room where I said some of it's original is like the big wooden beams that you see on the ceiling. Those are all original to the original building. But back in the heritage room, the big like wooden beams and all that stuff. And
then the brew room where the kitchen or where they brew
is the old kitchen from the Peerless Mill. Yeah. So that's still there from before the fire, I think.
The Peerless Mill was hoity-toity.
I've never actually got to eat at the Peerless Mill.
No, I mean, I'm not even sure you were alive.
I was actually.
Okay.
Yeah, because when it not the first time, but when it reopened after the first fire, I think I was around maybe a year or two. Like I was alive for a lot of it, but I was in the area for a year or two before they closed.
Okay. When I was growing up in the 70s and 80s, it was expensive.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So it was like special occasion for, it wouldn't have even have been special occasion for my family because it was too
expensive.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know
I
that.
imagine. My mom said the only time they were here is UPS had a banquet here.
Oh, okay.
So,
Nice.
um,
Yeah, I didn't know that about it. But yeah, so it's a nice old building. It's got a lot of history to it. And like down in the tap room and stuff, there's pictures of like the old building and some of like the old lock and the old mill and stuff like that, like back when it was original and first built. So it's actually kind of fun. You can, if you come in and explore and like look around, you can see some old stuff in the building, which is nice. Yeah. But they're celebrating it's either 11 or 12. I forget.
insert year here.
Yeah, basically. I'm sorry. I'm a terrible.
Well, wait, we can figure this out because my husband and I will have been together 8 years in August. You two will have been together 7 years.
Yes.
And we have been coming here for 5 years.
Okay.
6 years. No, 6 years because Cards Against Humanity was still happening and I didn't know you, but I knew you were there.
Yes.
So I think 2017 is when 2017 is when we started coming here.
Okay.
So that's been 6 years. And it was their 5-year anniversary. Like let's see, 2016, 2017, 2018 might have been their 5-year anniversary.
That might be right because I feel like the first time I came here, I bought my house in 2014 and I had been here before that. So I know that they were open at least, it was either 2012 or 2013. I'm trying to remember.
2013 would make sense.
So if it was 2013, then they had their 1-year anniversary when I bought my house.
Had they had your 1-year anniversary before you met your partner?
Did. Well, oh yeah, absolutely. Because I didn't meet him until 2016.
When did partnerships change? Were you together with him then?
No.
Okay, so you guys weren't together then.
So that's why I'm thinking it was 2012 that they opened in November of 2012.
So maybe their 5th year was the year we started coming here.
That could be.
2017.
So I think they opened in 2012 because that would make sense because I'm pretty sure I came during 2013 and I feel like it was like earlier in the year because they opened in November.
Okay.
So their anniversary is in November. So that would make sense because I had come in 2013, I believe.
So how long did he stalk you before he asked you out?
He didn't.
Oh, did you?
I didn't. We kind of mutually knew each other through just me coming here and then also just downtown people that we knew in the business community.
Okay.
Mutually. So we knew each other. And then one of our mutual friends decided that we would be very good together.
I guess they were right.
Well, 7 years later. So, she was very much so like, I want to hook you twos up. And I was very much so against it.
Cat?
Yes.
No.
Yeah. So I was like, no, because I just broke up with my boyfriend and we're not doing that. So after about 6 months, I finally said, okay, fine. Because I don't know. I was like, all right, I'm ready to start dating again. I had my 6 months of solitude and I enjoyed it. But so her husband actually had his 40th birthday party here. Okay. And so during his 40th birthday party, Kat in all of her glory is not the most subtle human being on the planet. And so when she said she wants to, basically her way of doing that was while we were both standing in the vicinity of the bar near her, she looked at him and said, hey, you should hang out with us one night and we should have Brandy over too. And then I think she suggested to him later in the evening that he should get my phone number. And he asked me for it and the rest is history.
Nice.
Yeah. So
done.
Yeah. So now I've been around the brewery for quite some time.
So Star City has, I don't think they have anything necessarily that they keep on tap 100%.
So they try to keep on the Old Mill Stout.
Okay.
That is their like signature beer. And I know they've got a competition.
An oatmeal stout.
It's an oatmeal stout.
Old Mill Stout. You get it?
Because it's the old mill. So they try to keep that on tap all the time because one, it's their signature beer. It's probably their most popular beer. And it's also an award-winning beer. It got, I don't know if it was a national, international beer competition, something, but it got 3rd place. So
nice.
Yeah. So that's pretty cool. So they have And they have a very large beer selection. So they're constantly switching out taps and putting new beers on, taking beers off. And they have some seasonal stuff that they have that comes out all the time. And
Some small batch. They do meads. We did not do meads because otherwise we would not be recording right now. We'd be on the floor.
They also have cider. They have seltzer that they make. They were the first brewery in the area that made their own seltzer.
Yeah. It's a blank seltzer that you can add. What does he say? 44 million possible combinations.
Yeah, because they have so many different flavorings that you can add to the seltzer that you can do all kinds of combos and stuff. They have a thing called Chuck Challenge where you can have the bartender add 3 random flavors and then you have to guess what flavors are in your seltzer. And there's money to be won if you do guess it, I think.
Yeah, because I think you have to pay $1
Yeah.
to do the Chuck Challenge, and people don't win it that often.
They don't. It's hard to guess sometimes because, flavors just don't taste the same sometimes.
Well, once you layer them,
oh, yeah.
they don't. Yeah.
So
You can put blackberry with marshmallow and something else, and it will not taste like blackberry anymore.
That's true. Yeah, you'll be able to tell there's like a berry flavor in there, but you would never. So some people win. It's kind of a fun time though when you've got a few different people playing at the bar. And then they also make their own wine. So they're a winery as well, and the winery they actually have. It's not separate from Star City, but they have their own branding for the wine. So it's Peerless Mill Winery.
Yeah. And they do fruit wines and
yeah. So they have like a Cab Sauv. They've got like Riesling. They've got Moscato. Yeah. So they've got the whole range of it. And then they do have the fruit wines. I like the fruit wines a lot. I like the other wines too, but I like the fruit wines a lot because I like to, we talked earlier, I like bubbles.
Yeah.
So I'll take my fruit wine sometimes and add some just soda water to it. Mm-hmm. And it makes it bubbly fruit wine.
That is my preferred way to drink the wines. It has no bearing on what the wines are, but sometimes I like a Moscato, but I don't want a Moscato.
Yeah.
So I'll have them mix it with soda water so that it's
not quite as sticky sweet.
Bartenders, because I'm like, when tonic, I don't know what I like. They're like club soda.
Yeah. Yeah.
Cool.
Club soda.
I stood in Kroger one day looking at the blue and the yellow bottles and the blue and the yellow. And I'm like, Schweppes. I don't. So then I had to look at them because I was like, whichever one I like does not have sugar in it.
Yeah.
So I had to pop them out. So there we go. I like club soda. I do not like tonic. I don't know. Maybe I like tonic. I don't drink it.
So tonic to me is got a very distinct flavor to it. Like I like gin and tonics. And so a lot of people put tonic with gin because gin has that very distinct like
Pine Sol.
Yeah, I was going to say Christmas tree, but yeah. And I love gin. So, but tonic, the flavor of tonic water offsets that flavor a little bit in the gin.
Okay.
Kind of balances a little bit
Gonna
better.
trust you on that.
So yeah, it's but I like the flavor of gin, so I drink gin and club soda a lot too. So
yeah, you and Jody would have that in common.
Yeah.
Actually, when I won a raffle with a charity called Perfect Editions, and I ended up with $200 in gift cards for Belle of Dayton. So I passed them out at Christmas to our gaming crew, and so we all got. Everybody got a $25 gift certificate, and that was Christmas that I passed those out.
Nice.
And we have somehow avoided, because the deal was we were all going to go together.
Yeah.
Mainly because Jody wants to watch a couple of the guys sip dainty cocktails. Because I've been to Belle of Dayton, and you don't have to get gin, but gin is what they were known for until COVID, and then it was hand sanitizer.
Yeah.
You don't have to get gin, but she loves gin. And during COVID, she was drinking, she's going to kill me. I think she was drinking like a bottle a week.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And I
can't say anything. I was having like a growler every night. So
we were having during trivia, which is Brandy and I've talked about. That's where we met. It was online trivia. My husband and mine's philosophy was that a howler, 32 ounces, is a single serving.
I mean, I feel like that's fair.
Yeah. So, and we were drinking straight out of the howlers.
Well, yeah, a howler is a nice, like, I mean, if you ever had one, it fits your hand well.
Yeah. And if you've seen the ones that we get from here, they look like moonshine jugs.
Yeah.
Little brown jugs.
Yep.
So you got a little place to put your finger.
Yep. Absolutely.
Tip it up.
Yep.
But yeah, you can also get howlers and growlers here.
Yep.
It costs, I think, just a little bit extra if you buy the bottle here.
Yeah, if you bring in your own bottle, you don't have to pay for but you
Bottle
need to make
fee.
sure it's clean and everything. And they do have a cleaner for howlers and growlers and all that stuff. But yeah.
So
You wanna
we
make
were
sure.
doing that.
Yeah.
Oh, and I highly recommend. Here's my favorite thing. Favorite COVID thing was we would come up and get a howler of Blue Talon. And we would do lime flavor only. And then my husband would bring it home and we would make Moscow mules with it.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was really good. I mean, we would still put everything in it that you would put in a Moscow mule. So it was basically hard seltzer, lime seltzer with vodka, with
ginger beer.
with ginger beer, with lime. Yeah. We were, I mean, it was just a little more alcohol. It's only like 4%. So
Yeah, it's not too strong. It's probably the lightest thing they've got up there as far as like alcohol content, I think.
yeah. And then sometimes Star City has special brews. Episode 16, go back and listen to that. That was brought to you by a Tripel, which was 10%. It wasn't the 15% one, but it was like 9.5%, 9.8%. And I had 3 of them waiting for you and 2 of them while we were recording for 2 hours.
Yeah.
And, by the time the 3 caught up solidly, I had already drank the other 2 and I regretted my life. And I was having a hard time working words.
Was that a hiccup episode?
It was a hiccup episode because we got into like a serious conversation about something and I could not stop hiccuping. And I was like, we are talking about something fucking serious here. And I'm like,
That's my favorite.
We haven't had one of those in a long time.
We haven't, actually.
I think the last time there was a hiccup episode, it was you. And then you just did a hiccup and then...
Yeah, I just said one and got it out.
Yeah, I'm going to be doing it for half an hour if I do it. I have to be really drunk though. The rotating beers are really nice because you always get a chance to do something else. We do not refer to the folks that work behind the bar as bartenders. They are beer tenders. If you're not sure what you like in any craft brewery, just ask the beer tender / bartender.
Oh yeah. They will have a recommendation.
Yeah. Just tell them what you like. Don't walk up and say, I would like the lightest thing you have, because then you get a brewer like Star Cities who brews a beer called the lightest thing we have. And it's not.
Or the beer tender will hand you a glass of water.
Yeah. That's my favorite thing. If you come in here and go, what do you have that's like Bud Light or Miller Lite, you're getting a glass of water. So don't do that.
Yep.
But yeah, so we got a flight here. We were going to do a flight of wine, but I think we're just going to not do that. Go find food and then do some off air.
Because even though it's only going to take you guys like an hour or 2 to listen to this, we've been doing this since 1 p.m.
Yeah.
And it is currently 8 p.m.
Yep. It's a lot of time for us to spend together. I mean, to be fair, we see each other on Tuesdays and Thursdays, but we don't really talk.
That's true. We don't. So
we've got other shit happening.
A lot. Yeah.
We do chat when we are at a table together at Euchre, though.
That's
I think
true.
it bothers the fuck out of some people.
It does. But
we have to catch up sometimes.
That's right. And honestly, I don't really need my brain to play euchre like some of the other people, so it's fine.
Yeah, I do the same thing with darts. There's some people that do not like you talking anywhere near them.
When you're
you
throwing.
can talk. I can have a whole conversation with you while I'm throwing darts. It's not going to change my thing.
The horrid face I saw on a couple of people's faces when I literally shoved a piece of pizza in my face while I was like throwing darts. I was like, I don't use my mouth to throw the darts. I don't understand why I can't chew while I'm throwing.
Mean, look, if I could hold darts someplace other than my left hand and feed myself a piece of pizza while throwing, I would.
Yeah. I mean, I was like, okay, whatever.
Well, I could do that. I could just stick them in my pocket.
See?
If you put steel tip darts in your pocket, do not sit down.
Oh my God. No.
Bad idea. I think we've talked about this before.
Just don't move until you take them back out.
So I play soft tip once a month. And I had a habit when I started steel tip, and I haven't played soft tip in 20 years when we started playing together, but habits are habits for a reason. They're called that for a reason. I picked up my set of steel tip darts, and I noticed most soft tip players do this. You pick up your darts and you level them against your leg, because you don't want them all willy-nilly in your hand.
Yeah.
So you level them by tapping the tips on your leg, and then it puts
Yep.
all three of them together. You can't do that with steel tip. I do it on my leg and I do it on my tummy, and I have stabbed myself repeatedly.
So I've never done it on my legs, but I was playing soft tip for a full year league before we started steel tip, and I always did it directly on my stomach.
Yeah.
So the first few games of steel tip were real hard to break that habit.
Yeah. I do things now on steel tip that I don't have to do. So I don't have interchangeable. It kind of has something to do with Star City, whatever. We're going to ramble. But I do stuff now with the steel tip darts, having gotten back into soft tip lightly, that I don't need to do. So I don't have interchangeable tips on steel tips. You do, but it's not that common.
I have not on my steel tip darts.
Okay.
I don't, but my soft tips, I do have steel tips that I can put
Okay.
on them if I want.
So we have, and my husband has told me technically we can repoint our darts. You just have to pull it out and then reinsert them really hard. But when I play soft tip, I don't know about everybody else. There are motions that I go through that just give me a minute. So I will have 3 darts in one hand. I'll take my dart and I'll take my left hand. I'll hold the dart in my right hand and I will twist the shaft to make sure the shaft is locked. I use locking O-rings. So it's not, and then I will twist the tip to make sure the tip is on. That will be loose as hell sometimes.
Oh yeah. No. Well, and that's a habit I got into with soft tip. Yeah. Cause I used to do that all the time too. And I do it in steel tip too with the barrels. I don't need to do it on the tips, but I do it on the barrels.
I do it on the tips still.
Well, and even I have the locking things too. And I have maybe once in the 3 years we've been playing steel tip had to tighten a barrel. Yeah. But I still sit there and go through the motion.
Yeah. So there's certain things that just come back to you, but now soft tip habits are bleeding back into steel tip. And as long as it's not stabbing myself, I don't really care. It's not.
Yeah. That was a hard lesson to learn. It hurt. But
also people bump this. And when I pull my darts out of the board, I almost always put them back in my left hand. And then I can't do, or I don't normally do like knuckle to knuckle bumps.
It hurts when you do knuckle to knuckle.
I do the side of my hand.
Which you can't do with your darts there because you stab people.
Still do it.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That was one thing. So I like the congratulatory factor and the sportsmanship and everything of the fist bumps and everything else. But when we moved to steel tip from soft tip, and we didn't have to do that anymore because in steel tip, people don't do that regularly, but they do it like every single time in soft tip.
To everybody.
It doesn't matter. Like you do it to the other team.
So if you're a team of 2 playing another team of 2, when you turn around off the line, you have to tap 3 hands.
Yeah. So it's, but I enjoyed the fact that in steel tip, I didn't have to do that anymore. And not that I don't want to congratulate people and stuff, but you're just constantly like fist bumping people. And I'm like, there's
a couple of steel tippers that I've played soft tip with and they know that I don't like it.
Yeah. Okay.
So, our one tall friend, she just walks off the line anyway. She'll like tap her partner, and she was tapping my partner, but like she and I was following her and we didn't do it. And I think she knows I don't like to do it. It's a lot of touching. And there are some nights even on steel tip that I'm just like, virtual high five, shoot well.
Yeah.
I'm not touchy sometimes. So I'm like, that's a lot.
Well, and that's the weird part because I'm usually kind of a touchy person, but it's a lot all the time. And like trying to remember to do it because then and I feel like I get in my brain too, because then if I miss somebody, then I feel bad that I missed them and I'm like, can't we all just be like, hey, everybody shoot well. And then like leave it until the end. Congratulations. You guys did great.
Yeah. No. When I was explaining so we started Dart League again and we have new people who've never played League. So you can throw darts and not be in a league, but etiquette rules during league play are different. And that's the fist bumping and shit like that is part of it. So for those of you who've never played League, when you go over to start playing with somebody, you diddle, which isn't as dirty as it sounds. You just throw a dart at the bullseye and whoever gets closest gets to go first. And then when you're retrieving the darts, well, actually whoever throws second retrieves the darts. You trade your darts back, you fist bump and you say shoot well.
Yeah.
Somebody else does something else, but it doesn't matter. It's a version of shoot well. And then at the end of you have to play 2 of each game, but at the end of the first game, you bump fists and you say good game. Yeah. And then you do it at the next one, but there's not constant. And the one of the players He is a soft tipper.
Yeah.
And he's very nice, but he was on our team last season, and then he's doing his own team this season, or he's on a separate team this season. He still does it, and I'm like, dude, we're good.
Yeah.
We're good. Also in steel tip, you don't compliment unless it's a really outstanding shot. You don't compliment or encourage each other at all. Soft tip, oh my God, those were good darts, good game, good. I'm like, I don't want to talk.
Yeah.
And I just seem like a bitch.
I know, but it's just one of those things. Like I have a people meter, and I feel like darts are on work nights. And I've already gone through a whole work day with all the peoples.
Yeah.
So by then, like the people I know and stuff, like cool. The people I don't know, I'll say hi and good game and shoot well and do all those things. But like the constant like interaction is just very draining.
Yeah.
I find.
But the etiquette stuff, man, it's stuff you forget to teach your new players.
Yeah.
And then they seem like assholes, and you're like, oh, hey, here's what we do. Because some don't pick up on it just by watching everybody else. They just assume that you guys are doing it because you know each other.
Right.
And I'm like, no, it's just, it's
a
the whole
thing that you do.
Because your partner, the first time we hadn't started playing steel tip together, that thought came after the first time that we subbed for your team. Your partner was like, you have to do this, and you have to do this, and you have to do this. And I was like, it's a lot of goddamn rules that have nothing to do with darts.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. It's a lot of like arbitrary things that.
Yeah. And they treat it like tribal knowledge.
Yeah.
And some tribes aren't that good at passing it. I started a conversation with one of the new people on our team in the middle, explaining to him what a diddle was, but I didn't tell him what to throw at. I didn't tell him what it meant. I mean, I told him what it meant. I was like, okay, so if you get closest, then you get, and he was like, closest to what? And I was like, good question.
Excellent.
Fantastic. I just throw it the middle of the board.
Yeah. The big red dot in the middle.
That's what I'm going to tell his wife when she plays with us next Thursday is like, just throw it the middle.
Yep. Just throw it the middle.
Throw it the middle. If you hit bulls, great. Fantastic. We'll close bulls first if we're playing cricket. Otherwise, fallout's fine.
Yeah.
Just don't fucking leave me with a 2.
Well, when I'm having a crappy night and I can't hit anything.
The wood behind the board.
I mean, when I have a crappy night and I can't hit anything, that's what I do. I just start chucking it at bulls and see what the hell I hit, because I'll hit something eventually.
Yeah. So,
all right. So our flights.
Oh, shit.
So personally, I've had a lot of the beers here, and there are the beers that I frequent. So I like there's certain ones that I like all the time, and so I tried to stay away from those this time, so that way I could pick 4 ones that I've either never tried before or that I just really wanted to try, or I haven't had in a really long time, so that way I could kind of pick out new beers, because I feel like if I just made myself a flight of the stuff I like, I'd be like, I like this, and I like this, and I like this, and I like this.
These are all the things I already like.
These are all the things I already like. So, yeah. So the first one that I tried in my flight was Where the Hell's Justin? And it's a play on words because the staff named it, and it's a Munich Hell's beer. It's a light beer. I mean, it was okay. I'm not a huge, I guess, light beers and stuff like that. Like I said earlier, like I'll drink Bud Light with all the bubbles and stuff like that, but like I'm not a huge just light beer fan in general. And I think it's because I don't like tasting hops at all. And this beer is not hoppy in the least, but at the same time, I can still taste that like little bit of,
flavor.
Yeah. So I'm not a huge fan of just like plain like light beers. So it wasn't my favorite, but I mean, it was a decent beer. I could drink it.
Awesome.
Yeah.
My go-to, many episodes have been brought to you by this when we recorded here, was Building 26, which is usually somewhere between a 6.5% and a 7.5%. Cause we go for quality. If that's what you want to call it.
Quality. That's it.
You can only drink so much beer, before you're like, I'm full. So yeah, I do what I can. It is a farmhouse beer to guard.
Yes.
Yay. And I like it. It's got flavor. It's not heavy. If I hear somebody ask, I don't like porters. I don't like stouts or whatever. I'll just throw my 2 cents in and be like, hey, the Building 26 is perfectly good. I think you have to take like 3 drinks of it and then you're fine.
I like the Building 26. That's one of my go-tos.
So it is, it's got a nice gold color. It's got a nice flavor. It's not hoppy. So I don't, again, it was the go-to. So that's what I picked because I'm more familiar with it. But I also went with 3 others that I do not drink that I may be drinking from now on.
Yeah. Because your other 3 in your flight looked like my normal, like, Tuesday night here.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
So, all right. So the second one I did was the Whole Station. It's a British golden ale. So once again, I tried the lighter beers. Honestly, and my palate is not very refined because I couldn't tell a huge difference between that one and the Munich Hells. The Munich Hells, I think, maybe had a little bit more flavor profile to it than the Whole Station did, but perfectly drinkable beer. It's just a light beer, and it's not my thing, but it was a decent beer.
Yeah. The next one that I tried was I'd Tap That. It is a maple porter. I like a semi-sweet anything. It was very sweet. Very, very sweet. My husband likes it, but he also used to drink ciders before he started brewing. And he enjoys it and he'll drink it straight. If there was something that was good I think if I mixed it with an Old Mill Stout, maybe it might be okay, but it was sweet.
I've had it mixed with the Old Mill Stout before, and I will say it definitely cuts down on the sweetness a little bit.
Yeah.
But yeah, it is a very sweet porter,
Like
and I like porters and
sweet.
Yeah, it definitely reminds you of pancakes because of the maple flavoring.
Ooh,
but
pancakes.
I mean, if you like maple, man, it's a nice maple flavor to it.
I need them to put an IHOP here.
Oh, that'd be great.
Pancakes. Woo. Or put a fucking Waffle House in here. What the hell? Yeah. So it was new. I'm not sure that would be another go-to for me. But porters and stouts are out of my wheelhouse. So it was a good stretch for me.
Yeah. So the third one I did was Legend Red. It's an Irish red. So I don't typically drink the reds, and so I had one over at Lucky Star as well. So the one here, I feel like the flavor profile was about the same on both of them. This one seemed a little bit lighter. You were talking about mouthfeel earlier.
Yeah.
This one seemed to have a little bit lighter mouthfeel to me than the other one did.
Okay.
So I mean, it was good, had a good flavor to it and everything else. But once again, not something I would drink on a regular basis. But I mean, if I needed to drink a Legend Red, I would. It was a good beer.
I've had it before when we first started coming here. It was one of the ones that I would drink because I wasn't like into a lot of the other things yet. My husband was still drinking nothing but cider. It wasn't until he took a brew class here that he even started drinking. I am stuck to the seat in a pair of short shorts. Not in like a gross way, just in like my skin has melded with the leather. So I would drink that, but I will say our dog Stormageddon, big fan because I don't know how many. My husband would throw away a beer if the dog drank out of it. I was just like, and she didn't drool in it. We first found out she liked it because I spilled one or somebody spilled one and she went over and just lapped it up off the patio. And I was like, this is not good. Thank God it doesn't have a huge ABU. But yeah, I like that. It's one of the ones that I would agree. Yeah. I think if you're looking for something that's a beginner craft beer
that's good. It is. It's good. It's a good step up from the blondes and stuff.
You're going to have to help me with this because I think everything that I have is a stout after this.
Yes.
Maybe. Okay. So Milli Vanilli is a vanilla stout.
Oh no, that's a porter.
That's a vanilla porter.
It's a vanilla porter. Yeah.
And it was good. It's got the vanilla scent hits you. So we talked about the flavors that you put in a Blue Talon.
Yes.
And for me, it's not so much flavor as the scent hits you, and so then your brain thinks that you're drinking
vanilla,
what it smells like. In the Blue Talon. So that's what this got. Like it right off the bat hit me with vanilla. So I was really happy about that, and it is mildly sweet. It is not heavy. It is actually on the exact opposite spectrum from the maple. I Tap That. Yeah. Like it's sweet-ish, but not didn't smack me in the face. So really enjoyed it. I would recommend it.
Yeah.
I fantastic. Folks like to mix it with the Old Mill Stout.
Yep.
And
That's what
something
I do.
else. I think my husband mixes it with.
I mix it with the Cinder Path also, which is their
Okay.
smoked porter. So then you get a smoky vanilla porter.
Nice. So I might have found a new beer.
Yeah. So I agree. I like the Milli Vanilli a lot. That one's one of my favorites. And I do mix it. So when I want something a little sweeter, I'll mix it with they have the Old Mill Stout that you can also get cold brew coffee in, and they call it a Twisted Mill. And they have a bunch of different flavors of cold brew coffee you can get in there. And one of them is caramel. So I'll get a caramel cold brew twisted half in my glass and then top it off with the vanilla. And it's like dessert. You're drinking dessert.
If anybody from the coffee, what is it? The coffee company that they have, Twisted Mill?
Twisted River.
Twisted River Coffee is who the coffees are from. So you can purchase that in the tap room. I need them to bring back the Twisted Nut.
That was a good.
Yeah, that was a really good one. It was like an almond based coffee, and I really enjoyed that because caramel is not my jam.
Yeah.
And then the Highlander grog just makes the coffee stout to coffee.
So that's the Highlander grog is a good one when I'm mixing it with things because it gives it a nice coffee base. And then when you put like the vanilla on top of it, if you don't want the super sweet instead of the caramel, if you do it with the Highlander, then you just get like the vanilla coffee kind of flavor. Yeah.
Nice. Go ahead.
Nope. So my last one is actually an experimental batch that they have out right now. I didn't get to try it the first time because they ran out of it. And so they made a second batch. And it is a fruit punch sour. And it is delightful. It's like drinking, like it feels like you're drinking fruit punch, but not like the super sweet fruit punch because you don't get like all the sugar from it, but you get like the flavor of the fruit punch.
Yeah.
And then the sour is just, it's subtle. It's there, but it's not like, burn your throat acid sour. It's a nice like hint of sour at the end there. So I really enjoyed the fruit punch sour. I hope they make a bigger batch of that.
Oh, I do too. I did the first batch, and when I came here, one of the beer tenders, I was like, I don't know what I'm feeling. I'm not feeling like an ale. I just couldn't make up my mind. Everything sounded just too much.
Yeah.
And she said, well, you've got to try this fruit punch sour. And I said, I don't like sours. And she was like, it's not sour. I'm like, all right. So the batch may have gotten a little more sour on the second batch, but the first batch was just like a mild fruit punch.
Yeah.
With a 4.8% ABU. So
yeah,
it was nice. You could drink it. You could drink a lot of it and not.
Yeah. And that's the thing. Cause I like sours, but like after you drink a couple of them in a row, I feel like you got to give your mouth a break from the sour. But that one was really good. And it had a little hint of the sour to it, but it wasn't like super overwhelming. So I feel like I could probably drink those all day.
Yeah. It's got a really nice color to it too.
Yeah.
It's a lighter pink than the beat whatever.
Yeah. Beat of my heart.
Beat of my heart. Yeah.
From Carillon. Yeah.
So yeah. The last one that I tried, so they have done, my husband provides peppers for spicy beers that they do here. And the brewer one time was like, oh, my buddy brings me peppers. Somebody had offered him peppers and he was like, no, my buddy, insert my husband's name, brings me peppers. I have a guy. So my husband likes spice. He makes jerky with Carolina Reapers and Scorpion Trinidad's, whatever. So he makes jerky with those. And I have eaten the jerky one time and it's perfectly fine as long as you continue eating it. I never used to be a person who got hiccups when they had a super spicy thing, but I had one tiny little square one time and I hiccuped for half an hour.
Yeah.
So he provides peppers and I avoid it like the plague. I don't do they do a habanero here once a year. They did everything but the coconut one time that was jalapeno.
It was jalapeno, I think. Yeah.
They've done a couple of different spicy ones that use Carolina Reapers. And it's funny because the amount of Carolina Reaper that goes into some of these, but it doesn't come out like trying to kill you. But when he's doing, what do they do? Like not 5 gallon. 5 gallon is the small one.
Yeah. I forget what the measurement is, but they do the spicy beers at least once a year and they come out with a new one because they do it for March for International Women's Day.
Right. So this year's, I think, was the Caliente Cacao. And it is a porter.
Stout. That was a stout.
Okay. And I have avoided it because I do not like the flavor of jalapenos unless they're pickled. I didn't like habaneros, and we're trying something new. So
Yeah.
go new.
Yeah.
And I liked it.
Oh yeah.
It is really nice in your mouth. And then as soon as you swallow it, you get this little at the back of your throat, but it's not like that you need water or you're going to sit there and hack like your cat in a hairball.
Yep.
It was just nice. And then I told Brandy, I tend to hold liquid in my mouth, but it's very quick.
Yeah.
Like it goes in my mouth. And then, so like, I don't,
You don't
same
just
thing when I
immediately
use
swallow,
when I use my vape, when I used to smoke, I don't inhale directly. I pull it into my mouth and then kick it back. So I held it in my mouth for a little bit and then you get a little tingle on your tongue and then you swallowed it and it was perfectly fine. Either way, again, my husband mixes porters and stouts and he mixes that with Milli Vanilli, I think.
Yeah. So it's a Mexican chocolate stout.
Thank you.
And yeah, I really like the spicy beers. So I like mixing that one because I like the stouts a lot. And so the fact that it's a Mexican chocolate, I can mix that with the old mill and have an oatmeal stout mixed with it. Cuts down a little bit on the heat. Yeah. Because like I came in and I think the first time I had it, I drank like 2 or 3 pints of it in a row. And then my lips were a little tingly and I was like, okay. But so when I cut it with the old mill stout, it still gets the spice and you get the chocolate flavor with the oatmeal stout and it like cuts down on the heat just a little bit so that I can keep drinking them all night.
Nice. So those are, it was really nice to try some new things.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll come back at the end of the Ale Trail and do a wine flight. We are not doing mead flights.
No.
We had the first time they introduced meads. There were 5 meads that they introduced.
Yeah.
And when they did I don't want to call it tapping, but when they introduced them, it was a special event. So you paid, I don't know how much money, and you got 4 tickets. So you got to pick 5 5-ounce pours.
Yeah.
No. 4 5-ounce pours,
right.
Or maybe it was 5 5-ounce pours. I don't remember, but I can tell you it was 2 pours too many because it's over 9%.
Yeah, they're pretty hefty.
But
I think one of them was like 15%.
Yeah, and if you mix them with, because I think they do the same thing with like regular wine as it is with mead, which is the sweeter it is, the higher the. Nope. The drier it is, the higher the alcohol content. So it must have been the dry mead that, but I know that we had to call an Uber.
Yep.
Yep. It was, yeah.
Yeah. You get a little toasty on the mead. And you can also have a Queen's tea if any of you are Renfest fans. Renfest Fair fans. So if you've ever been to Ren Fair, then you know that Queen's tea is a popular drink you can get, which is honey mead that's mixed with cider. Yeah. And so they have a cider here on tap too. And so you can get Queen's tea if you'd like to, and you can pick any flavor of mead that you would like that they have and mix it with some cider and have a Queen's tea.
And they do a lot of experimental meads, and I've never had one that I didn't like. So
yeah, they've had some interesting ones too. Cause I think the last one they had that I was like, that seems weird.
The carrot?
Not corn. The carrot. They had a corn one too.
That one was weird.
It was weird, but it was kind of good.
But it was good.
Yeah.
It was like fresh, sweet corn.
Yeah. They had like an elderflower one. That one was yummy. Hibiscus. That's the one that was the last one I think that I tried that I was like, okay. But it was really yummy. But
some kind of tropical one.
Yeah. They've had a fruit punch one too. And so they've got normal flavors also, but they come out with all kinds of weird fun flavors.
Yeah. So mead takes, I think, longer than
I think it's like 9 months or something.
Yeah. So when they run out, they're just out of luck. But there's always new flavors that are coming out. I expect some will come out soon because they're down to one.
I feel like they make the mead to release every year on their anniversary.
Okay.
I think that's traditionally what they've done because then the mead becomes pretty popular and they have it over the winter months. So, but I think they went through this batch a lot quicker than they have in the past.
The other things that you can do here at Star City, I think you can still infuse, but that just was a thing for a while.
Yeah, it was kind of a bad thing.
But you get like a French press of
You can pick whatever you want.
Yeah. So like you can do spicy, or there's other things like chocolate, something else. In the wintertime, I love the mulled wine.
Oh, the mulled wine.
You can get mulled wine kits in the wintertime.
Yeah.
So mulled wine is fantastic. The other thing here about Star City, we've talked about it before. I got married here, so they have rooms that you can rent.
Yep. They've got
and there are different deals that you can structure. Ours was our fees for the hours went to the bar tab. And like, if we didn't drink the bar tab, we just forfeited whatever that was. So we luckily brought enough people in that we went over that. And then my husband was like, she's drunk and we do need to cut the tab off. So, I mean, $80 over what it was supposed to be. I was having a good time. Everybody's going to have a good time. So you can rent rooms here. We are in the Peerless room, which has our soft tip machine, the Vegas bowling skee ball. Skee ball's a big thing.
Yeah, it is.
And then our steel tip darts. If you have your own steel tip darts, you can come up and play. If you don't, you need bar darts. There's a specific board that you can go to. The mill room has a fireplace, a pool table.
And there's a little game room off of the mill room also that has like a giant Jenga and a foosball table.
On Tuesdays, there are euchre tournaments. You do not need to bring a partner. You just sit down at a table and you are playing for yourself.
It's $5. You come in and you can win money if you're in the top like 3 or 4. And then if you come in last place, you get your money back.
And if you are local, if you're a local 501c3 and you are looking for a fundraiser, reach out to Star City at Star City. I think it's Star City at starcitybrewing.com. Something like that.
Go to their website.
Don't quote me. Go to their website and reach out to Star City and see if there's a month that you can grab for charity fundraising.
Yeah.
So they are very involved in the community, and they have had kitty rescue, and now there's a doggy rescue and veterans associations. So it's a really nice thing that they do to give back to the community. Bless you. Brandy's got allergies.
Allergy season's in full force. Oh, but I had my checkup and I'm not allergic to as much stuff as I used to be.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Those shots are working. What about your cat? Are you still allergic to the cat?
Still super allergic to the cat. Super allergic to the cat.
Oh my gosh, you guys should have seen us over at Lucky Star. The outdoor patio, as with any outdoor patio, has things flying around. We were running away from a carpenter bee, and then a wasp showed up, and it made for an interesting and cringy time. And I don't mean like, ew, you shouldn't have said that. I mean literally like cringing our faces and ducking under a table.
Yeah. I like to run away.
Run away. So we will bring you another set of breweries here in the next couple of weeks, and we really enjoyed this. This is all Brandy's idea, and I think it's fantastic.
Oh, well, thanks. I just really wanted to get all my stamps this year because I keep getting the book every year, and I never get all the stamps. And I'm like, well, if I make it a requirement, then it'll happen.
Yeah, I think we've gotten like 4 in the past, and it's just we don't. Our friends Mark and Jody are done already.
Yeah.
So I don't have that dedication.
I always start out gung ho, and then like there was one year I did finish a week before the deadline, but then I never actually got to take my book, and apparently it didn't matter anyway because they ran out of all the stuff like a month beforehand.
Nice. Oh, we're going to get to go to the preview at some point. We'll get to go to the Murder House Brewery that has moved.
Yeah.
So one of our episodes, we also did kind of a similar thing, but we just went to some of the southern breweries, and one of them, we did not know what the hours were. Also, we didn't know it was just in a house on a street that they converted into brewery, and it looked like a murder house because outside was a sandwich board with stenciled letters.
Yeah,
so it looked like a van with like candy in here. I have candy and puppies.
It was very creepy.
So they have moved. So I'm excited to see what they've got going on. And we did 3 today. We have 25 more to go.
Yep.
Sweet. So, Brandy, where can you find us?
You can find us at DBBL_podcast on Instagram and Twitter, or DBBL podcast on Facebook and YouTube, or our email address is dblpodcast@gmail.com, or you can go to our website at dbblpodcast.com. breweries.com. I did that all without a paper.
Yay!
I finally
Outstanding.
memorized it.
Hey, go to our website and join our, we promise we don't spam. You'll get one email like every 2 weeks,
Yeah.
but join our email list. And
Yeah.
if we do ever have something interesting to send out, you'll be the first one to get it.
Yeah.
Otherwise,
and-
you have to rely on Twitter.
Yeah, if I'm feeling ambitious, I might send out emails with previews of where the next breweries are going to be that we're going to go to. So,
That would be enterprising.
yeah,
We should do that.
yeah, we should.
All right.
Yeah, I'll try and do that. So sign up so that I have people to send it to.
Well, that was great. And today was a good day. And
Yeah, we're gonna
until
get
the
some
next
dinner.
time.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Ooh, wait, here's it coming. The train's coming right up against the fence.
She'll be coming around the mountain when she comes. She'll be coming around the mountain when she comes. Yeah, we're going to put this on TikTok.
This is so cool.
We should come back and go on the train. So the pale ale is